lynch field, the gut of the slums with cops gunned down. Another brown boy on the ground, yellow tape brown, no crown, but not a lost sheep. It's been found, it's crazy round these ways. Scuffed Timbs, fresh fade, switchblades in every block. Nigga, you smell haze, hell rage, fish on the corners where the sinner stays. Last days, we in the prophecies of the last page. One day we gon' be kings, they gon' be slaves. Mansions on mansions, gold streets.
The Pharisees in John chapter 7 and verse 16, my doctrine is not of mine, but of him that sent me. We are enacting the same exact thing. Our doctrine is not ours, but of him that sent us. And guess what? We are out here fulfilling just as he had wanted us to, and just as he is going to in these last days by the way of his servants, the prophets. Go ahead.
The book of Isaiah chapter 50 verse 4. The Lord God hath given me the tongue of the learned, that I should know how to speak in word in season to him that is weary.
So we are weary as a people. You can clearly see that we're weary due to the fact that we have Black Lives Matter painted across an entire street. Let me ask you all something. How long did it take you to paint all this? The same, and as a matter of fact, a less amount of time it would have taken you to research up who am I and where do I come from. The same amount of time it would have taken you to look at brothers like us preaching on the street corner to realize we are God's true chosen people. The number one most rejected people, hated people on the earth that has been colonized, and everything done under the sun has never ever happened to another nation as us. You have to understand that in these last days, the Lord's prophecies are not only being fulfilled, but you have to also understand, due to the fact that the transgressions of this place have reached up to the Most High's throne, he can no longer look away. And I'm going to give you a bold statement I'll make. Black lives have never mattered. If they mattered, you would not have to say that Black lives matter. You know why they don't matter? Because in 1669, when a slave by the name of Cecilia killed her slave master, and they figured out about it, and they brought her to court, they deemed that she wasn't a person. That was a slave, a black woman. How do you think that they look at you? Those same people that have had that racial intent, that have wanted to subject us and degrade us by every means possible, had children that had children that had children. And what made you think that they forgot about the simple fact that they didn't look at us as human beings? When you read in the Constitution, it says that all men were created equal. The Constitution was established on July 4th, 1776 during slavery. It was established while we were enslaved in shackles and chains and still picking cotton on the plantations. Now, if that's the case, how does that apply to you? Or what doesn't apply to you? Andrew Johnson, the president after Abraham Lincoln, said it finally himself right out in the open. This is a white man's country. This is why Micah 2:10 said that this is not the land of your rest. If it was the land of your rest, you'd have peace here. You'd have easiness here. You wouldn't have anxiety. You wouldn't have to worry about if you're going to lose your life when the cop pulls up on you. You wouldn't have to worry about what's going to happen to me tomorrow. You wouldn't have to worry about what's going to happen a week from now, a year from now. You wouldn't have to look at yourself in the mirror every single day and worry about the color of your skin being a threat to someone else. Continue reading.
He wakeneth morning by morning. He wakeneth mine ear to hear as the learned. So the Lord has wakened his ear to us as the learned, and we are these learned men that have come out to you today with the unison and the big amount of group of brothers that we have to get back the word, which is the edification, the gospel, the good tidings, the good news unto our people.
That's right.
Now concerning Nick Cannon, him coming out saying we are the true Hebrews, it should be nothing new that these celebrities, these rappers, socialites, whatever it is that you have come out and said we are God's chosen people.
That's right.
And when it was addressed on the news, a white news anchor only addressed the part about the Jews and being anti-Semitic and Hitler. But he didn't address the part when it said that the white man sold blacks into slavery and they're God's real jewelry. He didn't address that part though, because that was the truth and the matter of the fact. And when you read in Deuteronomy 28 and 68, those are the same people that went back into slavery, back into Egypt, the house of bondage, by the way of ships, and that prophecy was fulfilled. Isaiah 55 and 11 tells you that everything that goes forth out of the mouth of the Lord shall accomplish that which he pleases. It didn't go back to him void, because that prophecy was fulfilled back in 1619 when the first slave ship arrived here. So if that's the case, how can you not open to read the Bible, but then proclaim it to be a white man's book? They say it's a white man's book, right? But has black people and black faces all up in it. And the people of color, as you can obviously see inside the scriptures, were able to become leprous. If you're able to become leprous, which is to become as white as snow, then what must you be? I'm sorry, you have to be a person of color. You have to be black.
That's right.
You must be a melanated person. Then. You must have pigmentation in your skin. Sometimes when you need to break down that Christ isn't a black man, you don't even need the scriptures. Think of it this way. In the history of the earth, when have you ever seen two Edomites come together and make a black or brown baby? Never. But when you look in Africa, right, those completely dark, pigmented, melanated Africans are completely capable of making an albino baby. What is the Lord showing you in that? That we are the dominant and we are the superior. And every single which way possible. By genes, by strength, by everything that it is that we do, no one can topple us as a people.
It's the book of 2 Peter, chapter 1 and verse 13.
Bring it out.
Yea, I think it meet, as long as I am in this tabernacle, to stir you up by putting you in remembrance.
So I think it means to stir you up in remembrance as long as I'm in this tabernacle. You have to understand, according to the scriptures, which we have already went over by the past two brothers that have gone up, Jerusalem is a people before it's a place.
That's right.
And guess what? In understanding that, you have to understand first and foremost that I think it means to stir you up inside this tabernacle amongst these men, this church, this gathering that is among us right now. I think it means to stir you up and help you understand black lives don't matter, Israelite lives do.
That's right.
So understand something. You're not a color in the crayon box. You are brown by technicalities of classifying your skin color according to whatever color whatever color it is that you have it. But you have to understand, black lives have never mattered. If you understood that, you wouldn't have to keep saying it. How about the 3/5 compromise back then when the South wanted to use slaves for votes in Parliament? And the Union said, we're not having it because you're just going to out-cheat us every single time. So you know what? Guess what? We'll just deem them 3/5 of a person. For every 3 slaves that you have, that's 1 vote towards Parliament. This is how lowly that they think of us as a people. The brother brought out Zechariah 11:5, whose possessors slay them or hold themselves not guilty. Do you see how quick Deshaun Jackson and Nick Cannon were called out for their so-called anti-Semitic comments? But Breonna Taylor still haven't been arrested.
Bring it out.
The cops that killed Rashad Brooks haven't been arrested. But you clearly see how quick they are to criticize about something coming out pertaining to the true nature of the true Hebrews. Let me give you a little something. Arthur Kessler, the man that authored the 13th tribe, broke down the history of the Khazar origins of the converts that are the Jewish people today. They tell you they're not the real Jews in that alone. Jewish. The suffix ish means to be pertaining to. You're trying to copy. You're trying to be like. You're a mimic. Right. You're not the exact or the real thing. So if that's the case, and they're white, then who are the real Jews? The people that must have melanin inside their skin. The people that the scriptures must be talking about. What Jeremiah 14:2 said, that the tribe of Judah is black as unto the ground. Oh, that's funny. Black as unto the ground, huh? You know that the darker you dig a soil, the darker it gets, right? So when you go back to Genesis 2:7, and you consider that the Lord created Adam out of the dust of the earth and mixed it in with a little bit of water, which then made it mud and only had to become darker, you understand that a black man was the first man created upon the earth, right? When it said that the Lord created man in his image, it was a man of hue. That's what makes us humans, people of color. This is why the Lord said he would not put, that he would put a people that are not a people above us. They're not people because they're godless and they're moralists. They do not have morals. They do not know how to act accordingly. And when Arthur Kessler broke down his history inside the 13th tribe, he said specifically that there was a man worshiping a wooden penis because he didn't know where he came from. That women uncover themselves. They're godly, lashless, beast-like men, and they don't know how to conduct themselves. These are the people that not only proclaim to be the real Jews today, but have taken complete captive and hostage of our identity. Well, guess what? These men I'm standing here with right now, we are here to proclaim it back because we are the real Jews of the Most High God, man.
That's right. Bring it out,
And no, it doesn't just entail the Negro tribes. It entails our Hispanic and our Native American brothers too. Do not forget that in 1492, 100 million people, and so on and so forth, throughout the decades and years that passed on by, were slaughtered off their own homeland. And yes, I'm going to say it. No, you should not be celebrating thanks for killing. God does not have to tell you not to celebrate the mass slaughter and killing of your own brothers and sisters. And if we look back in those righteous times and they found out that you celebrated, yes, it'd be righteous for you to be put to death. Why are you celebrating something that has nothing to do with you? We all celebrated the 4th of, I can say the 4th of your life. It's your life because it's not your freedom nor your independence. Why are you celebrating freedom that has nothing to do with you? While hell and turmoil is going all across this nation. The death of George Floyd made this entire world go crazy because they're even fed up with our treatment. 18 nations across the entire planet have rioted and protested in our name because they're tired of the injustice that's done to us on this earth and in this place called America. Babylon, biblically known in the scriptures, that is that great whore that sits upon many waters. This is that same great whore that the Lord is going to judge and pull the skirt off of in Isaiah 47 because he is fed up and tired with this place, man. You would have to think, right, that the Heavenly Father's throne is completely immeasurable. Well, guess what? The Lord testified and said that the sins of this place have surpassed his throne, that he can't turn away from it no more. Just like how I can't turn away from Black Lives Matter on every single street that I walked on and that I turned on, well, guess what? The Lord can't look away from this place no more. He can't. Jeremiah 51:7. Let me help you understand how the Lord feels about this place and concerning the judgment that is to come upon him, because he can no longer not only take the sins of this place, but he is going to plead the cause for his people just like he did in the past Egypt. Just as they cut off our men, and as my brother previously brought out, yes, there's abortion clinics abundantly inside of our neighborhoods. They're doing nothing new under the sun to get rid of us at any cost. You have to think of it. Psalms 83 is a master plan by the way of which not just Esau but the nations would craftily in subtle manner get rid of us in every which way possible. That way we would never prosper as a people or a nation. There's liquor stores and churches inside your corners, on your blocks, everywhere you go. Well, guess what? What is that doing for you? As soon as you get out of church, you can go to the liquor store, you can get cigarettes, whatever it is that you have it, and when you want to feel good, you can go right to church. You're feeling your spirit, but then you're not feeling your spirit because you're feeling your flesh, which is devouring you and killing you all in one. It's a win-win for them, and it's a lose-lose-lose completely for you. But yet you're trying to tell them that Black Lives Matter when your life never mattered in their eyes, and they've always wanted to subject you by any and every single means possible. Go ahead.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 7.
Bring it out.
Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand.
Gold is the most precious metal upon the face of the earth. The Lord just said that Babylon has been a golden cup in his hand. There's 18 nations, an innumerable amount today. And out of all of them, the Lord said Babylon has been the golden cup in his hand because he is fed up with this place. Let's keep on reading.
That made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad.
So because America passed this cup of homosexuality, spread democracy by the name of bloodshed and everywhere that you can possibly name it, the Lord is pretty much fed up with this place. The Lord has not just pronounced judgment upon his people, but upon this place for the things that it has done unto his people. How about beginning with the fact that when Columbus first sailed over here, if any of you have ever read his diary, the first thing he said when he looked at the Native Americans, this is how you know that he was a devil in the first place, he testified and said, with slave-like master language, said that these men are of fine build. They're ignorant in using the sword. They're tall, they're slender, they're masculine, they have long flowing hair. These people would make fine servitude. The first thing he thought of when he saw these people was slavery. Sometimes it bothers me that the northern tribes are ignorant of their captivity that they've been through. There's no difference between Judah or Ephraim. I had the cotton field, you had the slave mine. Well, your wife was raped, well, guess what? So was mine. You were breeded just like I was. That way we could we could breed forth more stock abundant for their economy and their riches. Cotton was one of the #1 resources produced on the planet, and guess what? That happened under slavery. That that we were known as black gold. We were never looked at as people because it was always, to them in their eyes, we are a commodity. We are of value to them because of how much we can do. Did you know, O nation of Israel, the entirety of Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, it takes 1 weekend for all of us to stop working and this economy completely shuts down. We are the literal lights in this place. When the Lord said in Matthew 5:14, ye are the light of the world, a city on the hill that cannot be hid, he meant that in every which way form possible, because you are what keeps this place going.
That's right.
Why do you think this place is going to fall when we're delivered out of here? Because the light is out of this place. When you're in darkness, you cannot see. Guess what, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man? You are the light that this world needs. Why do you think this world is still going? Let me help you understand just how precious and how essential you are to this earth, because you're so stomped over, you're so looked over, you're not even considered, that you deem yourself to be nothing when that's not even the case. That's not how the Most High, the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, feels about you. That's not how he feels about you. Let me tell you how he feels about you. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, verse 35. Thus saith the Most High, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divideth the sea when the waves thereof roar. The Lord of hosts is his name. Verse 36, if those ordinances depart from before me, the moon and the stars, the lights that the Lord has given to this earth, go ahead, saith the Most High, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever. So this is how important you are, O nation of Israel, not just to the Lord, but to the entire earth. You are connected to the lights of this world, and that is how important and essential that you are to this planet. You are what keeps this planet running. When the Lord said in Matthew 24:22, except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, he did that for your sake. He did not do it for anybody else. When he told the disciples in Matthew the 10th chapter, beginning at the 5th verse, go not into any of the way of the Gentiles, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel, he was talking about you. We are a lost, and more importantly, we are a forsaken people, but you are never and never have been forsaken by the Most High, our power.
That's right.
If that was the case, these men standing here with me today that I'm gathered with, we would not be on these corners preaching and teaching what we are to this very day.
No.
More importantly, my message is black lives don't matter, but Israelite matters do. You have to understand that it's not about color. It's about nationality and it's about heritage. We are Hebrew Israelites because it is our national and holy language, and that is the nation that our forefather Jacob was blessed with, and yes, we are his children.
That's right.
All 12 tribes, which encompass the black, Native, American, and Hispanic. You have to understand that if this wasn't the case, then who are we? Why are you the best at everything you do? Why are you the most hated? Why are you the most persecuted? Why everything that you touch, you are blessed in that field?
Wake them up.
On the righteousness side, and yes, also unfortunately on the wickedness. We are the best fighters. We are the best singers. We are the best dancers. There is nobody that compared to God's people, man.
That's right.
If you had to understand that, you'd understand why our lives are not only never matter, but why they hate you so much. Because they want to be everything like you.
Huh.
They get ass shots and ass injections, lip injections. They get breast fillers and breast surgery to look like you. What you have naturally, they envy, and they want to do everything in their power to get. What they do is witchcraft and sorcery, because that did not exist in our time. If you don't got it, you don't got it. You shouldn't go out your way to spend how much thousands to millions of dollars to do something so artificial that's non-organic to your body, which will possibly end up killing you.
That's right.
That's how far he goes in his power to be like you. Why? Because it's in the power of his hand. O nation of Israel, you don't have that power because you're in the land of your captivity. Why would your life matter? And the Lord told you this is not the land of your rest. The land of your rest is when you have peace. The land of your rest is when you don't have anxiety. The land of your rest is when you don't have to worry about anything. Blacks, Native, and Hispanics have to worry about everything because this is not our nation. The sad part is we built it. We built it and we can't partake in one fair share possible of everything that we established here with our own hands by the blood and the backs of our ancestors. We pay bills till we die. We work 9 to 5. Last hired, first fired. But yet in everything else, we're never ever to be considered as a people. We're never looked at as, you've mattered, I'm gonna treat you equal. All men was created equal was created during the birth of American independence, not your independence. Another fun fact, Juneteenth, when Lincoln supposedly freed the slaves by giving the Emancipation Proclamation, it never was to free you in the first place. He said that if I could free a slave and save the Union, I will gladly do so. Another fun fact, our presidents up until the 18th, Ulysses S. Grant, were all slaveholders. And yet we praise these men on these dollar bills. Yet we praise these dead presidents, as we so-called like to call them, and think it's a good thing when they never considered or cared about you. How is that the case? My people are foolish to know good, but to do evil, we have very much wisdom. Paraphrasing Jeremiah 4:22. Everything under the sun pertaining to wickedness, pertaining to sin, we have it down pat, but God's law, statutes, and commandments, we turn our ears away from. We don't know what that is. We don't care to hear it. We're not about religion. Give a thumbs up, beep the horn, walk by and record, and then be on about your day, rather than the Builder Brothers as to why you're in this predicament that you're in today.
Bring it up.
Why you have to tell the people that you worked for so long that your lives matter when they never matter. You don't understand how oxymoronic that phrase is. And they never looked at you like they were people. How about this, right? When you're having a simple conversation, and a white person goes, "Ooh, can I touch your hair?" Do you know that that's the same tone that they use when it comes to animals? Can I touch your dog? Is he safe to touch? Do you not know that they talk to you in that same manner? Racism is not just taught and inherent. It's passed down generation to generation. The children of slave masters that had slaves who were racist and prejudiced and everything of that sort had children that had children that had children. What makes you think that they forget about how to look at you? How about during the time of Jim Crow and their segregation laws when they categorize us with dogs? That is how lowly that they think of us. How about when you went to go vote and they so much as put you to death for even putting a slip inside the ballot box?